What's up guys, it's KC and welcome back to another hardcore Minecraft video. Last episode was a little bit of a snafu, but we figured it out. We ended up getting not one, but two wither stars, although only one was caught on camera. And then we also built this bridge, and I said that I was going to terraform over there on the other sides of the bridge. But I was thinking, and yes, I do that sometimes, I was thinking that we need to figure out the rest of this farm first. Starting off with this. We made this a couple of episodes ago, and it has been chugging along. And this is what it's created so far, and as well as some other stacks of chicken, but I've been eating mostly chicken nowadays, so it has been doing its job. But, unfortunately, I think it's about time that we move it. So first things first, let's just mark out the area that we want to use. And I'm thinking I want to put the coop right about here. And I'm going to use some of the wool that we started collecting a few episodes ago. And I'm just going to make a square of where I want it to be, so that I can kind of see what I can put around it in terms of decorations later. So this will be the area of our chicken coop, and we'll have a couple of different pathways coming over here later in the episode, but for now I'm going to go get the materials that I want to get, or that I want to use for this. Alright, so first things first, I kind of want to make the wall perimeter thing, but we need to make a chicken coop itself first. So I want to do a raised coop, and then we'll have a little area for chickens to be running around in. So I had to do a couple of errands, specifically with villagers. The iron farm keeps breaking, which is fine. I'm going to make a new one that's a little bit faster soon. But for now, we're going to keep on moving on with the chicken farm. And I'm going to go... I wanted to do a raised version. Let's go 2 blocks up so you can still walk on it. Or walk under it. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put the collection system. Actually, this will need to drop down 1 block. Alright. Scrap this idea. I was going to do all wood, but I realize now that I'm using lava in the build, and it's probably going to burn down at some point if I use just wood. So, we're going to make him a little house. How am I going to do that? I don't know yet. New idea. So, my idea was stone building, like this. Okay, and this will be the chicken coop. There will be windows and things here, but this will be one wall, and now I'm going to do another wall here. And now that we've got the outer wall done, now I can create the hopper system here. So I would like it to be 1 block taller than I made it before. Hey y'all, post-production here. I tried to recreate the farm super quick, but for some reason, the dispenser was not hooking up to the pulse that the observers were creating the same way that I made it before. And when I found out a way to like make it work, it wouldn't have worked with the lava in. So I spent a good amount of time getting it, or working on it. And then I finally came up with this simple, stupid design. Okay, I have no idea what was wrong with this. I don't see the difference between this and the design that I had before, but I finally figured it out. And a simple farm that I should just be remaking took me too long than I'd care to admit to remake. That was kind of satisfying. Alright, so I kind of finished the inside of it. Now I just want to build a little courtyard for these guys, and then I'll move on to the next part of fixing up the farm. And I want to do a couple of grain silos, and I was thinking of doing it over in this area. Not down here, but over along the ridge. So I'm going to start by going around here like this, and I will just kind of... So I've got the little courtyard done. I'm going to texture the ground. I'm going to add some little chicken... what I'm going to assume is like chicken wire kind of, and maybe like a little hutch. For like an outside area. I'm going to put it over here so it doesn't burn. And then this will be, I think, a pretty good chicken hut. For the most part. It's not typical. I wanted to use wood, but because I'm using the lava, I don't think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be more of... it's going to catch on fire and just burn down. I'm going to have to redo everything. So it's stone for that reason. And now for the little hutch that I wanted to make. Alright, so I think I'm pretty much done. I might add some chickens out here later. Maybe not, but this is basically the outside of it. Got my little chicken coop here. They've got some water. They're gonna run around here, but really... they're all stuck in here. No chicken has been produced yet, but these guys just got hatched, so they'll start growing up soon. And now we can move on to the rest of this farm. And what I said earlier, I wanted to do silos, like kind of grain silos over here. Kind of somewhere to store all of the farm crops. And to do that, unfortunately, I have to make circles in Minecraft, and I am terrible at circles in Minecraft, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to put them over here, so they're kind of out of the way, but you can still see them. I'm going to do 3 sizes, so there's going to be the biggest, another smaller one there, and then potentially another bigger one here. I think that's a good spread. Kind of fills this corner of the build, just something taller. It's gonna fill a good amount of space so that we're not just looking at this bare mountainside forever and ever. Alright, so I've got the base of it down, and I realize now that if I put it all wood, the wood might look a little weird just touching the ground. So I'm gonna start with stone and everything. And then I'll work my way up using the oak logs, oak wood, and the dark oak. Alright, so we've got most of the grain silo done. I'm just gonna I'm gonna finish up putting these signs up around, and that's gonna act as kind of like a retaining structural part, even though we all know it's not doing anything. And with that, our first grain silo is all done. I'm gonna build 2 more that are gonna be similar, but I'm gonna try and mix them up just a little bit in their design, just so I don't have a cup or a copy paste just everywhere around. And I'm probably gonna make them just a bit shorter and taller. So I'll probably have the tall one in the middle, and then I'll have this one will be shorter, and I'm gonna play around with the dimensions of it for sure. Alright, I think that's silo number 2 done for the most part. Let me just add a couple more finishing touches there. So silo number 2 completed. Now, one final one that I want to do. It's going to be shorter. It's going to be right about here. Okay, I've made my 3 wooden silos, and I think it's time to add some other things around this area. I've kind of been neglecting it in the last couple episodes, but I make a build and there's nothing around it. Like you see around here, it's just bare grass blocks. Time to do just a little bit of landscaping. So I've done a little bit of landscaping over in that back corner, and now I'm going to fill in everything. I'm going to have a couple of farms, a couple of extra trees, and a couple of things that I'm experimenting with, and I'm kind of excited to test out. So I'm not going to lie, I kind of got into a little building groove, and I wasn't talking for a good amount of it, but I did screen record, so I'm going to do a little voiceover with everything I did, and I'll show you everything and the thought process that I had when I was doing it. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm just making a new wheat field. Pretty plain and simple. I didn't want to put the wheat field right next to the old one. I wanted to spread them out a little bit, kind of make it a little more pleasing on the eye. I didn't want just a long rolling wheat field like every other build I do tends to have, so I wanted to spread it out. And what it's going to do is it's going to go all the way around and wrap around that little island that I built full of dirt. And I kind of start it here, but I don't finish it in this recording, but I just wanted to say that's what I did. And obviously, the very next step we need to do, build a tree, because why not? I didn't know what else to put there. So this is just me making the outline of the tree over again, because I tried doing it the first time and I didn't like how it turned out, so I tore it down. The very next step, add the leaves. I use the similar techniques that I've used in previous recordings when I've been making the trees. Not like when I made the grove with the lake in it, but more like the checkerboard pattern that I've used in previous trees that I've made. A little bit of air in between some of the leaves, so it's still lush, but I'm not using as much resources, and it's kind of like a realistic tree, kind of. I don't know, I've been trying to work on this technique a little bit, and I think I did it pretty good in this one. But as you can see, there's been a lot of lightning strikes as I was building this. I was hoping for a skeleton horse, but that ended up not happening. And finally, adding some fence posts and some half slabs to the build. I like doing this because it helps with adding like branches. Like I have the main branches, but you also have like the twiggy branches that kind of go out and actually connect to the leaves, and that's what I'm doing on the bottom side of the tree. I would do it in the leaves, but it's not that visible. The other thing that I like doing is I try and build the base of the tree out a little bit, especially with these large oaks. Kind of makes it seem like it's not just a big oak pillar sticking up out of the ground, and it's actually part of the landscape. And if you notice, I added another spore blossom in the tree, just kind of makes it seem like it's leaves falling, kind of like a fall type theme. Now I'm just adding grass around, and next I'm just going to add like a little bit that overlooks the valley there. The next thing I did, I started working on a little bit of pathways, and you can see I kind of skipped over the pathway from our storage room over to the silos, but I'm showing this just to show like that I'm working on it. Then I put up some lighting around so no mobs could spawn, put up a little bit of a stone wall barricade between the silos and everything. Now I'm just trying to make a wagon, and it took me a couple tries to like actually get this right to make it look like a wagon. But I think it turned out pretty well at the very end. So I added another one right underneath the silo, so it's actually like carrying grain. And then I had to fill the silos with the grain, and that's what is shown right there. And then I go back to building the stone wall. Next thing I did, I just added the stone walls to the end of the building, because personally I hate when I have large dirt walls and stuff, so I added some texture, some different designs, kind of like what I did with the Lake Grove area. So this is what I was kind of excited to try and test out, and I know it's a really small part of the build, but I thought it looked really good, and it's kind of like a vineyard type area, and I use just normal fence posts and some spruce trapdoors as kind of like a blanket, and then I use azalea bushes or azalea leaves, the flowering kind and the non-flowering kind. The flowering kind of, to me, it looks like grapes, so that's why I wanted to use it, and I was excited to try it out. But then I just added some coarse dirt and some cobblestone just to try and make it seem like people have been walking through there, picking the grapes and whatnot, and I think it turned out pretty good. Alright, so I've finished a good amount of the landscaping just in this little corner. I'm going to do a little bit more off camera, but I thought I'd show what I did. So obviously we have our tree, and this is overlooking the valley, and eventually this valley is going to, I want to get rid of that middle bit and kind of connect it so that this is kind of like a little harbor starting on that side, and I'll figure it out in the future. But this is a little bench that you can sit down, crops, and I'm going to add fence poles on the outside, unlike the stone wall that I had on this, following this side of the farm, wheat farm. So I'm going around there, and here, come down, and I thought it would be kind of cool if I had like a little grape vineyard and a sunflower farm. I put the sunflowers here because I didn't know what else to put. If you guys have any ideas, please put them down in the comments, and I'll try to make a difference, or make it different. But you go around here, and it goes all the way almost to the bridge. I want to do something a little different over here. I want to probably cut off part of this wheat farm here and put like a little watchtower or something. Then we have our bridge that we made last episode. And then over here is where we moved our auto chicken farm. And my plan was to have chickens just kind of roaming around in here, but I feel like they'd escape if I did that. And I don't know, I'll fidget with it off camera. Here's our actual farm. Probably put some storage in the I'll put some storage over in the corner for our chests and everything like that. And finally, we have our grain silos, which is not a big project, but I think it really kind of masks the mountain behind. I don't really want to just look out and see the entire mountain. Still got to work on some things in here, but I'll do that off camera. For the most part, we are pretty much done with this area. Now that the sun is setting, I think we've run out of time. So, thank you for tuning in, and have a great day, guys. Peace.